So in this video, we're going to look at the 5 product types you want to avoid when doing your Amazon FBA product research. So arguably, product research is the most important stage when you're going through the process of launching a new Amazon FBA business, because no matter how well informed you are or how well you execute the other stages in the business model, so for instance, no matter how good your product images are, how well optimized your product listing is, or how good your PPC campaigns are, if you've picked the wrong product from the beginning, then that product is never going to do well. So product research is super important. And that's why I've decided to do a 5-part mini series all about how to do product research properly. And in this video, which is going to be episode 1, we're going to be looking at the 5 product types that you want to avoid when doing your Amazon FBA product research. Then in next week's video, we're going to look at what makes the perfect Amazon FBA product. So if you're new to the channel, make sure that you are subscribed with that notification bell turned on so you get notified when each video in this product research series comes out. Also guys, if you're enjoying the video, give it a thumbs up, helps give the video a boost and get it out there to more people. So without further ado, let's talk about the first type of product that you want to avoid, which are PPC restricted products. So for the vast majority of products sold on Amazon, you are actually able to run PPC campaigns. However, for some specific product types, you're not actually able to. They're PPC restricted. And this includes products like adult products, so any sex toys or really any sexually related products, drug paraphernalia, so bongs, pipes, smell-proof bags, anything related to drugs, and finally religious items, so crosses or anything that's related to a specific religion. For those kind of product types, you're not going to be able to run PPC ads. And the reason why this is a problem is for 2 main reasons. Number 1, it makes it harder to launch, and number 2, it makes it harder to stay ranked for specific keywords. So if we come over to Amazon and look at a product that is not PPC restricted, such as water bottles, if you scroll down, you can see that the first 4 listings are sponsored products. So these sellers are running PPC campaigns for these products, targeting the keyword water bottles. If instead we look at a product that is PPC restricted, such as a bong, which counts as drug paraphernalia, you can see that there are no sponsored ads running for this product. So obviously when we think about launching a new product, the idea is to drive traffic to the product listing and drive sales velocity to increase organic rank. And obviously there are a number of different ways to do this, such as Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads. But no matter what kind of external sources of traffic you're using, the kind of foundations of any launch should be Amazon PPC. And obviously if you're PPC restricted and you're launching one of those products, you're not going to be able to incorporate Amazon PPC into your launch process or your launch plan. So in a nutshell, if you decide to launch a PPC restricted product, you have to rely heavily on off-Amazon advertising to be able to launch and keep your keyword ranking, which in general will cost you more because you're advertising to a cold audience rather than a warm audience who are ready to buy. And secondly, it's less specific and less controlled than using PPC to rank. Okay, so the second product type that you want to avoid when doing your Amazon FBA product research are fragile products. So really you want to avoid any product that can be broken easily. So products that are made from glass or porcelain or any fragile material. And the reason why you want to do that is because there are just so many places that product can break along its journey from your manufacturer to your customer. The product can break during shipping from your supplier to the UK. So for instance, from China to the UK, if you're getting your products manufactured in China, that product can break when it's being sorted or sent between the Amazon fulfillment centers. That product can break when it's being shipped from the fulfillment center to the customer. There's just so many places where that product can break. It's important to understand that Amazon don't check every single box. Obviously, if your products arrive at the Amazon fulfillment centers and the box is completely crumpled and destroyed, then Amazon will let you know. However, if the box is intact, and let's say you have a porcelain product that's really tightly wrapped and there's a small crack, Amazon's not going to go through all of those products checking that every single product is completely undamaged. If there's no noticeable damage, then that will go into your fulfillable inventory and that will be sent out to customers. Now, obviously, the last thing we want to do is ship our customer a broken or faulty product because number 1, they're likely to leave a negative product review. Number two, they're going to say that the item was defective, which is going to give us a high defect rate, which is going to negatively impact our seller performance. And finally, we're just going to lose money on that product because that money is going to be refunded to the customer, yet we've still paid for a fulfillment fee. So generally, I would advise just avoiding fragile products altogether. However, if you do decide that you want to launch a fragile product, what you're going to need to do is make sure that your supplier packages the product properly and run a drop test. Get them to drop the package from head height onto the floor and make sure that the product survives that drop. Okay, so the third product type you want to avoid when doing your Amazon FBA product research are large and heavy products. Now, the reason why you want to avoid large and heavy products is because they're going to cost you much more in three different places. Number one, it's going to cost you more to ship those products from your manufacturer to your local Amazon fulfillment center. Number two, you're going to have to pay more in Amazon storage fees. And finally, you're going to have to pay more in Amazon fulfillment fees. Okay, so let's talk about shipping from your manufacturer to your local fulfillment centers. You're most likely not going to be able to ship your item by air if it's large or heavy because it's just going to be too expensive. The price is going to be prohibitive. So you're going to be forced to ship your products by sea. Now, obviously, there's pros and cons to both, which I'm not going to go into in this video. But if you're interested in that, I'll put a link to a video around here somewhere that I did a few months ago comparing air and sea shipping. But you're basically going to be restricted to sea shipping, and that sea shipping is going to cost you a lot more than if you were to launch a smaller, lighter product. Then you have your Amazon storage fees. These are the fees that Amazon charge you per cubic foot per month to store your products at their fulfillment centers. So let's say that you were launching a small light product like a water bottle that you could fit 10 into a square foot. Then for that water bottle, you'll probably be looking at paying somewhere between kind of 7 and 9 pence per month to store that product at Amazon. If instead you're launching a bulky item that say is a full square foot, you're going to be paying 10 times that in storage fees, closer to somewhere between 66 pence and 93 pence per month for Amazon to store that product. And finally, let's look at the Amazon fulfillment fees. So these are the fees that Amazon charge you to pick, pack, and ship your product to your customer. If we scroll down, you can see that the larger the product, the more Amazon will charge you for this fulfillment fee. And on top of that, the heavier the product, the more Amazon will charge you for that fulfillment fee. So if you were to launch a heavy and bulky item, it's going to cost you a lot more in shipping, storage fees, and fulfillment fees. So obviously, if you're able to launch a small and light product, then all of those fees and costs are going to be lower, which is going to allow you to be able to have a larger profit margin. And we're going to talk about that more in next week's video, all about what makes the perfect FBA product. So the fourth type of product that you want to avoid are clothing items. And the reason why you want to avoid launching clothing items is because of the issue with different sizes and the fit of those clothes. So every single person has a completely different product shape, and you will know that if you go shopping in one shop or a different high street shop, that in some of those different shops you might have a different waist size, you might wear a different t-shirt size, because every different designer, every different store has a different cut of clothing, and that's going to fit each individual person differently. So one of the problems with launching a clothing product is that you're going to have a much higher return rate because that product is not necessarily going to fit everyone properly. And obviously a higher return rate means that that customer is being refunded for that product and you're still paying that fulfillment fee. So you're going to be losing money there. And then on top of that, if the customer returns the product to Amazon in an unfulfillable state, you're then going to have to create a removal order to have that product sent back to you or destroyed, because you're not going to be able to sell that product to a new customer, and you're going to lose money. You're going to lose that product cost. So again, in general, I'd just say avoid all clothing products that have multiple sizes. However, if you're dead set on launching a clothing item, what you want to do is do two things. Number one, make sure that you have a very clear sizing chart as one of your product images so the customer can see it and they can measure themselves. And in the description or in the bullet points, make it very clear. Ask the customer to measure themselves against that chart before ordering your clothing product. Obviously, if you get a customer to do that, they're more likely to pick the right size, it's more likely to fit them, and you're less likely to get a high return rate. So the fifth and final type of product that you want to avoid are seasonal products. And I would define any product that has higher demand at a specific point in the year as a seasonal product. So to give you some examples, summer products, so inflatable swimming pools, anything that you would only use when the weather is good would be a seasonal product. Winter products, again, any product that you would only use when the weather's cold outside would be seasonal. And then finally, event-specific products. So Mother's Day products, Christmas products, those are all seasonal products that are going to have much higher demand at a specific time of the year and much lower demand in the remaining part of the year. So how do you actually go about finding out if a product you're considering launching is a seasonal product? It's actually really easy to do. All you're going to want to do is just come over to Google Trends. Make sure that you select the country that you're based in on the right-hand corner. This is really important because a product may not be seasonal in another country, but might be seasonal in your country. So I've just dropped down and selected United Kingdom. And then you just want to search the main keyword for your product. So let's say we're looking at something like a inflatable swimming pool, which we know is seasonal. If you then hit view a 5-year period, so what Google Trends is doing here is showing us a search volume for this specific keywords, which kind of indirectly relates to demand for this specific product over a time period. And what you can see is these distinct peaks and troughs. So we can see that search volume for inflatable swimming pools, as expected, is really high over the summer months and then really low over the winter months. So this is a classic example of a super seasonal product. So there's two main reasons why you want to avoid seasonal products. Number one is that you may not necessarily launch that seasonal product in time. Let's say it's coming up to Christmas, you see that a specific product is getting quite popular and you want to launch a Christmas product. If manufacturing takes a bit longer or shipping takes a bit longer, or for whatever reason you don't launch in time, you may actually miss that seasonal period and you might launch into a low period. And you'll have the same kind of issues if, for instance, you don't actually sell, your launch is not that successful and you don't actually sell as many units as you expect. What will happen is you're left with all this excess inventory being held at the Amazon fulfillment centers, because as you come out of the seasonal period, that product doesn't sell as well and your units are just not moving off the shelves. And what's going to happen is you're going to be paying the Amazon storage fees for Amazon to hold those products at their fulfillment centers while not making sales. And you're also going to have your IPI score, which is your inventory performance index, drop on Amazon, and Amazon then might impose inventory restrictions on your account. So really you want to avoid those things happening because they're going to cost you money and they're going to cause you issues down the line when you're planning on launching future products. On top of that, your business's cash is going to be held in slow moving stock, which is going to give you poor cash flow, and that's going to cause you problems when launching subsequent products down the line. So in general, I would just recommend avoiding seasonal products. However, again, if you're dead set on launching a seasonal product, the two things that I'd recommend is, number one, launch that product in the low season so that you can gain reviews, you can gain some organic rank, which is going to cost you less, and then your product is ready and ranked as you move into the high season. The second thing that I would recommend is that just be conservative with the amount of stock they hold on Amazon, so that you're not left with all of this excess stock if your product doesn't sell as well as planned. Okay, so I've actually got one more sixth bonus product type that I want to talk about, and these are fad products. So you really want to avoid a fad product. And I would define any product that becomes massively popular and then that popularity steeply declines as a fad product. So if we head back over to Google Trends to give you an absolutely classic example of this, I've just searched the keyword fidget spinner, and we can see that in 2017, it grew massively in popularity and then steeply declined in popularity. Now, obviously, if you were about to launch a fidget spinner in 2017, you wouldn't have seen the demand steeply decreasing, you would just see it steeply increasing, and you might think this is a great product to launch. But what you need to ask yourselves to make sure that you do not launch a fad product is, number one, is the demand for this product increasing too quickly? And number two, is this product essential to day-to-day life, or is it a fad product? And normally, if you do those two things, fad products are fairly easy to identify. And the reason why you want to avoid fad products is for exactly the same reason that you want to avoid seasonal products. By the time your product's manufactured, by the time that you launch that product, the demand for that product might be decreasing, it might not be as high as it was, and essentially you're going to be left with all this excess inventory, all this slow moving stock where your capital's tied up in, and really that demand is never going to come back for that product. So you've just wasted your money on stock that is never going to sell. So those are the 6 product types you want to avoid when doing your Amazon FBA product research. I hope you found the video interesting and helpful. If you did, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. It helps it get out there to more people, and make sure you're subscribed for next week's video, which is going to be all about what makes the perfect FBA product.